My name is Blair, and I did my internship in Dublin, Ireland for the summer. This is me on the day of my interview when I also got to take a tour around the city of Dublin. I'm a bioengineering student at Berkeley going into my senior year. This summer, I worked in a neuroscience lab in the Trinity Centre for Bioengineering at Trinity College, Dublin. My boss was Edmund Lawler, principal investigator of the lab. Ed embodied all of the skills of the human resources frame and did an excellent job at running the lab. He structured the lab in such a way that meetings and schedules were well organized. Ed received his master's and went on to become a postdoc before achieving his current position as a professor at TCD. He's a great motivation to all of the students in the lab who are trying to achieve goals similar to what he has accomplished. Ed is very easy to talk to and made sure that we set goals for me at the beginning of my internship. He runs the lab so that all of the students collaborate with each other and are able to help one another. Ed oversees 7 PhD and master's students, each whom are working on different theses or projects. They all have the same overarching theme. They all focus on neural engineering and work with electroencephalography, monitoring and recording brain activity. The EEG caps that are mainly used in the lab are 128 electro caps, such as the one shown here. These measure brain waves as a subject is doing an experiment. I began my internship learning how to do data analysis. Using MATLAB coding, I changed the raw data into data that could be used to plot graphs, such as the one I plotted here. This butterfly plot shows brain activity for 3 different experiments, one using visual stimuli only, one using audio only, and one using both. I then learned how to create the topographs and set them to a specific time of the experiment. The main project I spent my time on over the summer was one about the N400 and the CPP responses. The CPP is an aha moment when the brain recognizes something or makes a decision. The N400 is a negative response in the brain activity due to an unexpected occurrence. I first created MATLAB code for setting up the experiment. This example is of the code I used for data analysis, putting the activity from a certain time into a graph. This second example is part of the coding I created for making the head plot, which shows brain activity at a certain time for each of the 128 electrodes. The experiment was done on normal people who would sit in front of a computer doing the experiment while wearing an EEG cap. I tested 5 subjects, one of whom was myself, and this is me wearing one of the caps. The experiment itself consisted of sentences showing up word by word on a screen, with the last word either making sense or not making sense. This example, saying, "The dentist recommends you brush your tree," is an example of a nonsense sentence. From this, I expected to see the N400 negative response due to the unexpected word. The graph of results showed mostly what I expected to see, an increase in the brain activity up until the last word appeared, when the negative response is shown. This is the average head plot for all 5 participants, which did not come out exactly as I had expected. This was okay, as one of the main pieces of advice that Ed had given me was to not always expect results that you hypothesize. An important lesson is learning from making mistakes, he said. Working in the lab gave me an experience of going to a full-time job. Although it was different than most companies in that I worked with master's and PhD students, I still learned valuable skills. I learned how to work with different people of all kinds of backgrounds and how to set up schedules and goals for myself. This internship taught me a lot about neuroscience and how master's and PhD programs work. It made me think more about the option of getting a postgraduate or postdoc degree, which I hadn't really considered before. During my time in Ireland, I was able to explore a lot of the country and learn about its history and culture. I saw many castles, all of which were beautiful, and I explored a lot of the countryside and rivers and oceans, which was my favorite part of Ireland. I was also able to visit Spain for my birthday weekend and see its beautiful architecture and experience its culture. One of my favorite things to do is to be outdoors and hike anywhere and everywhere, and I was so happy to have found friends who would go with me and explore the mountains and cliffs of Ireland. Irish food is absolutely amazing and delicious. I tried black pudding, which is made from pig's blood. You'd think it would be really gross, but it's actually really good. Overall, I made incredible memories and friends here that I will never forget. Dublin was a wonderful experience that taught me a lot about other cultures and a lot about myself and what I want to do in the future. Thank you. Hi, my name is Blair, and I did